Spoilers of the Damned.
Hello and welcome to Spoilers of the Damned, episode number 28. Today we're going to be talking about the film John Dies at the End.
Spoilers.
I would say spoilers, but to be honest, you probably have no idea what's going on unless you've seen or read John Dies at the End.
Let's not understand.
It's certainly a journey with many twists and turns.
Yeah. That's safe to say.
But we'll get into that. So it's actually been a while since we podcasted, even if you're listening to these one after the other. So guys, how have you been?
Final Fantasy.
You've been Final Fantasy. Well,
I have been
good.
Final Fantasy.
Is that some kind of medical complaint or?
No, not really. It's been wonderful, actually. I bought Final Fantasy Dissidia on the PS4 recently.
Oh, right.
Not very horror related,
for people
but
who don't play fighting games, that's Final Fantasy fighting game, right?
yes, it's Final Fantasy fighting game for the PS4, not the one for the PSP or the sequel to the one on the PSP, which is also on the PSP, but the one on the PS4, which was also originally released on arcade in Japan, which got me really fucking jealous because I'm a Final Fantasy fan. But then they ported it over to PS4 and they got it over to our shores, and I had a blast with it. It's awesome. I'm not trying to I mean, I love it. I love the original Dissidia too, but this one's better than that one in a lot of different ways. And I'm not going to get too far into it. It's just that if you are a fan, and I'm a fan, and this game made me realize that I'm truly deeply Final Fantasy trash level fan because I'm getting all the little references and the voice lines you can unlock per character are actually plot hints in the games that they come from, and I know them all, at least all the ones that I've seen. And it's I've been married to Final Fantasy and I just didn't even know it for so many years that I just said, you know what, Dissidia, you're amazing, I'm going to play you, but for now I'm going to go back and enjoy Final Fantasy X, which is what I was doing up until this podcast. And for
Are you playing the remaster?
Yes, I'm playing the remaster. I mean, I was playing the PS2 version before the remaster, but then the remaster came out, so why would I go back to that? I mean, they rearranged the music in the remaster, the graphics, the menus are different. They're higher res so that they actually fill the space better. I mean, they touched everything up. So it's
someone who's never played 10. Now that I've got a PS4, and I'll be getting on to why I bought a PS4 in a minute. But I've been enjoying it greatly, and that's definitely one of the things I just want to pick up at some point and play. Mm-hmm. I'm aware I don't have the time that I did before when I was younger to put into JRPGs, but I feel like 10 would be a good time to do that. So
I think I could recommend 10 to you specifically because you don't have a lot of time. Because a lot of the game is linear, a bit like FF13, where you go from place to place to place to place to place, and there isn't a whole lot of running in circles. Where do I have to go again? Overworld, town. Where's that one mountain path I need to find? Is it over here? Over here? None of that's in the game. You follow the road. And even when you get the airship just teleports you to locations, so you don't fly around and stuff and not find things very well.
Really streamlined.
Yeah. So that, and even your gear doesn't really level up either. You'll get a sword, for example, and it has it has abilities on it strength plus 5%. Or something, and then you find other swords get sensor on it. You can just switch one for the other, but the sword's damage is exactly the same. It's just that strength plus 5% can give you a small boost to damage if you do physical attacks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
But it's not it's only 5%, so it's not integral to your party makeup. But you don't have to worry about, I don't have my bronze sword yet, I don't have my silver sword, or my mithril sword, wooden sword, so on and so forth. You don't have to gear grind. You just play the game. And you can pretty much fumble your way through it so long as you know how to play a Final Fantasy game. You can pretty much figure the game out without having to stop and grind. So
that's
cool. I know two things about Final Fantasy X. As someone who's never played it before, one is
I knew it.
And the other thing I know is that there are potentially, I think, items you can miss, and you have to go and get electrocuted 100 times in a certain place by lightning.
Oh, that.
Is that right?
You have to dodge lightning 100 times in a row.
That's it.
And that's easier said than done.
Yeah, much easier said than done.
Much easier.
Much. The worst part about it is that you have to run in circles. Wait, no, I guess you can stand still. You don't have to run in circles. I was running in circles because I'm stupid. But you can stand still and the lightning will come to you. But I was thinking I had to run in circles to activate the lightning and I'm dumb. Anyway, point is you just stand still and you watch the TV till your eyes dry out after like 76 fucking lightning bolt, and then you blink, and then you miss the flash, means you miss the dodge, and then you don't dodge 100 lightning bolts. You have to start all over again. I have never done that. I've never done it, but I want to. I really want to get it done.
Is it a trophy? Like
it's not a trophy.
Remaster?
No, it's one of your party members' legendary weapons.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's Kimahri's. It's the blue lion guy. Yeah.
Then I don't mind missing it. That's why I don't ever go for it.
I kind of like him. Like, I didn't like him so much when I first played it, like 10, 15, 20, 30,000 eons ago. But, like, now when I'm looking at the sphere grid, and I can see that he has a very small sphere to level up, and then he just branches into other party members' spheres, he becomes much more interesting to me to level up. So I went from Kimahri's sphere to Wakka's sphere, so that they can both get, like, the silence hits and the dark hits and the sleep hits and all those kinds of things, the status effects. And I really like that. Now that I have Wakka and Kimahri doing those same things. If I have to fight 3 things, I can put 2 of them to sleep at once and then fight the one thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
true.
It's pretty handy. It's a lot more handy than bringing Kimahri down to Lulu's sphere, which you just give him black magic, and
It's pointless.
it's kind of pointless. Most things that you require black magic to kill will only have like 1 enemy in the field anyway, so you don't really have to do more than 1 black magic spell.
That's true.
Cool. I'll try to remember all that.
No, don't worry about it. My point is, though, and I want to bring this up since I brought up the Final Fantasy thing, I have found my game that I can just play forever. For example, I have a friend who plays Fallout 3 New Vegas, or Fallout New Vegas. She doesn't want to play Fallout 4. She doesn't gel with that. 1 or 2 doesn't gel with that. Fallout New Vegas, she can start that over, play it again and again and again, all the way from beginning to end, whatever, and just do it again, and it's fine. There's another guy at work who plays Kingdom Hearts. He lives and dies by Kingdom Hearts. He said that himself. I think that's interesting, because Kingdom Hearts, I can't get into it, but I have like...
Yeah, me neither, actually. I tried.
Yeah, it's hard.
Back in the day.
It's hard. Not like a difficult game. It's just... Oh, it might be. I don't know.
It can go hard.
I know Agrabah was aggravating, but because I got that far at least. But the point was, it's like I didn't have a game where I was just like, I could play this and be happy, until I played Dissidia, and it reminded me that I grew up with Final Fantasy, like 7 and 8 and 9, and before that 4 and 6, and all that, and like. I have this treasure trove of Final Fantasy games, and they cover a broad spectrum of genres. So you have like your tactics games, you have your JRPG games, you have your more action oriented games like Type 0 and Dirge of Cerberus, and I don't know if that game is even good. I've never played it, but I might.
I've played Dirge of Cerberus. It was okay.
Yeah.
If you're not expecting, an RPG.
Yeah, it's a
I wouldn't.
possible action game, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There's also Crisis Core, which I did have a lot of fun with on the PSP. There's just a huge number of things in the Final Fantasy universe, and they're all like feeding off of each other constantly. So when they make it FF15, that game was like wildly different. But once you start playing it and see the Final Fantasy themes that they threw in there, it becomes part of the overall whole, and then you just sort of enjoy the whole Final Fantasy experience. And that's my thing. I found it. Like, I have a 500 game Steam folder. I don't need 488 of those games. I no longer need them. I no longer care about buying other video games at all, although I'm going to buy the Secret of Mana remake when that comes out next week.
Really?
Yeah. Why?
It kind of looks like arse. Graphically, I don't like I think it doesn't look very particularly any better than it did originally. I don't like the style they've gone for. I just think it looks a bit cheap. But I could be wrong. I don't know. As long as I haven't fucked with the combat too much.
Yeah, the combat was great, but the combat in the actual SNES game was also broken as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you would hit someone and they'd be in iframes for like a half an hour, and then you'd have to wait for them to get back up before you can hit them again. And sometimes when they hit you, you're in iframes for about a half an hour, but you can't do anything in those iframes. So as soon as you get back up, they knock you back down again. I've died in the Witch's Forest because a werewolf would not stop spitting fisting over my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want a little bit of improvement there, but as far as the game looks, I don't really care. I just want also like some dialogue that makes sense. Like the OG Secret of Mana dialogue, I mean, none of it really made any sense. There wasn't like a plot or any kind of like reasonable dialogue in there. It was just, we're gonna go this way now, okay. Take the cannon. Why am I taking the cannon? Doesn't matter. You're in a cannon. Isn't it cool that you get shot into space?
How else are you going to get around?
Right? So
You can't ride a dragon yet.
Yeah, could get a dragon. My dogs are barking. I'm sorry. She probably sees a jogger outside or something like that.
She's probably seen something move in the distance.
Oh yeah, maybe it's God, I can't even think. The dog is downstairs barking through my door, and it's in my brain, and it's like canceling out all thought. It's terrible.
They're really excited about the Secret of Mana remake.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I could tell.
Or maybe they like disagree with you or something.
Maybe, yeah.
They're like, I didn't have a story.
Like, the story was beautiful. You're the idiot.
Like, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I was going to ask you actually about Final Fantasy Dissidia, the most recent one you're talking about. Is it very representative of the series as a whole, including all those tactics games, or does it focus more on kind of like the late numbered games, because they're probably arguably the most popular?
No, it has a representative of every major Final Fantasy release from 1 to 15.
Okay.
So you have the Warrior of Light and Garland from Final Fantasy 1, and you have a protagonist, antagonist from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, even 11. But you don't have the antagonist of 11. You just have a character from 11. You have a protagonist from 12, no antagonist there. 13, protagonist, no antagonist, because that one didn't even really have an antagonist. 14, you have another character who's a protagonist from that one. No, the antagonists in 14 are wild and varied because it's a big MMO. Yeah. And then you have Noctis from 15, and they don't have the antagonist from that game, which I don't even know who that is. But it still makes up like a 30-plus character roster spanning the whole series, and they have one map from every release. So Final Fantasy 1, they have Corneria, which is awesome because it's like, if you played the NES one or even any of the remakes, the opening cinematic when you start a game, where it goes da 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 da, all that kind of stuff. There's like a grassy hill with some trees in the far right and a castle over a lake in the distance. You play on that map.
That's cool.
Oh, cool. And it looks beautiful, cool. Like in a PS4 highly realized 3D environment. And you can like destroy the trees by knocking people through the trees and stuff. And yeah, it's really nice. And then like on Final Fantasy VIII, if anyone here's played that one, you know how they have...
I'm actually looking it up now to see who is there from 7, 8, 9, because that's pretty much
all
I know.
Yeah, you got Cloud, Sephiroth, you got Squall and Ultimecia, and you have Zidane and Kuja from those 3 games.
Okay.
And they all have wildly different fighting styles, so it's actually kind of fun.
It makes sense, actually.
Midgar from 7. The Promised Meadow, where's that?
Promised Meadow, like you remember, like in the end where Renault is out in a field and there's a bunch of flowers and stuff.
Oh yes,
it's that field.
Udall said,
yeah, it's that field, and it's beautiful because like when you're playing, it's like a barren wasteland, and then like after about a minute of the match, it just fills with flowers while you're fighting. Cool. So it's like it's animated and dynamic and just beautiful.
That is cool.
Cool.
Anyway, I'm going to quit this podcast and go play some Final Fantasy.
Listen to how podcast anymore. It's about RPGs. It's Final Fantasy. Give us some stuff.
Yeah. But
Give us free stuff.
It's interesting to finally find that one game. Like, you know, like speedrunners, they have that one game. Like somebody speedruns Okami. Who the fuck would do that? Somebody's doing it, though. Someone with a lot of time and a lot of interest in that game will like do that jumping menu glitch where they can jump infinitely and jump over huge gaps for fun. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm like speedrunning Final Fantasy games in my head, though. When I'm playing it, I'm like, if I was speedrunning it, I could do this probably. I just sort of catalog that. I never really do it, though.
I think yeah, I think if I was going to pick a game that would be my version of the game I could play forever, I think it would probably either be Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 4.
Really?
Probably 4, actually, because that's the one I have actually played the most times.
Oh, really?
I probably played that through to completion at least 20, 30 times.
See, mine was always Resident Evil 2. I I back in the day I could proper speedrun it, but I can't now. It's really depressing. I used to not only know I used to be able to speedrun it, but I could avoid combat about 80-90% of the time because I just mastered the controls so much. I knew exactly how to bypass everything without getting hit.
Yeah. Cassie does that. He kind of you can lure zombies to go a certain way and then hug the wall or things like that to get past them.
That's what I used to do, and then I'd mapped out everything in my head, so I knew where all the items were. So I'd figured out the fastest way to collect everything and do like everything in like a big sweep.
Yeah.
Can't do it now, and it's really sad and really depressing because I wish I had YouTube and shit like that back in the day because I'd have recorded it. But no, it's never done this way.
No, we didn't know what would happen.
No.
We had no idea.
We're the OGs.
We didn't know.
We were before recording software and capture cards.
We
and
just
shit.
can't prove it.
We don't need to. We can be like that guy who lied about Dragster.
What's this?
Oh, you know the world record for is it Dragster? The guy, basically, there's this guy back in the 70s or 80s. He supposedly got this world record for Dragster.
That's an arcade game, right?
Yeah.
I know
And
what
then they
about.
proved with a computer that you can't get that time.
Oh, really?
And he's still like, yeah, I totally did it. And no one believes this guy anymore because he's like just full of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the guy who?
I'll try and get the name for it.
Is he the one that had like the record for Donkey Kong as well? And he's got if it's I'm thinking
It
of,
might have been him.
There was an episode of AVGN where he was playing the really horrible Japanese Transformers game on the NES or the Famicom, and he was drinking the guy's hot sauce because the guy sells jars of hot sauce.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's him.
Yeah.
On January the 29th, 2018, the Twin Galaxies administrative staff removed all of Todd Rogers' records and banned him from participating in the leaderboards.
Fuck.
Guinness World Records also removed his score from the database.
Fuck.
Yeah,
that's not the guy.
There's been a kind of a movement in the past few years to kind of go, look, this guy is clearly bullshit.
Yes.
There's no evidence. All we've got is his mate going, yeah, he totally did it.
He did.
They've given him a controller and the thing, and he's hasn't done it. He's gone yeah, this is a defective controller.
I can't work with this. It doesn't work properly.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And then I think the coup de grace was that they got a computer to simulate it as fast as possible. Tool assisted, and couldn't get that score. It's you're busted.
Oh my god, what a dickhead.
Yeah.
You asshole.
Speaking of things that, I'm definitely going to speedrun, I've been playing a game called Hidden Agenda, which is technically impossible to speedrun because
right. I was thinking
it's going to be the exact same time for everybody who plays it.
Yeah.
Because it goes on a timeline and you just interact with it.
Oh, I see. It's one of those.
Yeah, but so Hidden Agenda, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it was one of the tipping points in me deciding to get a PS4.
Okay.
And I've got a PS4. It's lovely. I decided to go with a Pro so I can be kind of future-proof, and it's white, which is nice because my Xbox is black. So
I'm joking.
it makes it easier for controllers and everything. And I've been enjoying it a lot actually. And Hidden Agenda, the weekend that I got it all set up, and me and the wife were going to play it, the app didn't work.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Because that's the one that uses. Is it Playlink? Because I've never even heard of Playlink.
Yes. Yeah.
I've had a
Playlink
PS4
essentially.
since it came out.
Okay, so the layman's version of Playlink is Sony copied off of Jackbox Games. Think Jackbox Games, Sony. And that's what Playlink is basically.
I don't even know what Jackbox Games is.
You've never played a Jackbox game, Chris?
What is that?
Oh my god. Okay, so a couple of years ago, Jackbox started doing these versions of their games. Apparently, they are a company who had all these games before, Don't Call Me Jack or Ask Jack or something.
Oh, you don't know Jack?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, I know that.
And loads of other things as well. And they developed these kind of games that essentially everybody... It's really... I think the beauty of it is that it's so idiot-proof. Everyone opens the browser on their phone, they go to the Jackbox website and they put in a code for the, a kind of a generated session on their internet server. And you can play all these games our favorite is Quiplash, where people kind of like, they get a prompt and you have to make up, it's kind of like, whose line is it anyway? You have to make up a funny thing and then you all vote on it.
Fuck.
Everyone uses their phone as a controller, literally, or your laptop or whatever. Anyone with an internet browser can play. And you can play on, sort of like online over the, ocean or whatever. You can give people your room code. I mean, some of those games, it is a lot better to play them with people in the room just because, you get reactions and everything else. It's a good time. Playlink is pretty much the same thing, except Sony have sort of distinct apps that you have to download. Being a iPhone master race person, I guess they work on Android. Who knows?
Fuck, yeah. So it worked for me.
What? iPhone what?
Well, see, the funny thing is, the Android version was probably working last week when we wanted to play it, but the iPhone version wasn't.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It's just punishing you.
I googled it, and apparently someone somewhere, I think, literally had turned a switch off, which meant that iPhone users couldn't play. So.
Basically, they were just going, hey, fuck you guys.
Yeah, that got fixed, and so we sat down this weekend to play it. And basically, it's made by the people who made Until Dawn, Supermassive Games.
Oh.
And I loved Until Dawn. I thought Until Dawn was great. And then I heard about Hidden Agenda. I heard that everyone can play with their phone. It's like a crime, like police drama. So you all get to like collect evidence and work out which way you want to go and all that kind of thing, branching choices, like Until Dawn. So
yeah.
And it is so frustratingly close to good. Like, it's the story, the characters, everything is great. I feel like the mechanics let it down a little bit.
Oh, really?
So essentially you've got this kind of like little box on your touch device, and you can move your finger around in that little box and it moves a cursor on screen. So first off, I don't understand why, unless they're really trying to push for this Playlink thing, they wouldn't have some kind of DualShock support. It's not likely that you're going to have a room with 4 people and 4 controllers in, but for the people who do and don't have apps, they should have made some kind of controller option. Yeah. I'm sorry, everything I've played could have been done on a controller, and it would help when, either the apps don't work or maybe in the future when the apps aren't even supported, because this is going to be I guess we're living in a portion of history where you'll be able to play it and eventually you won't be able to play it, when Skynet takes over and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, trying to get in as many games as I can before Skynet take over. And yeah, the problem is, first off, as you would expect with a straightforward narrative game, there is really not a lot of deviation when you pick different options. We've actually played it through 5 times this weekend, which is, it lasts about anywhere from between about an hour and a half to 2 hours, 3 hours at a push. So that should show you that we were really invested in the characters. We wanted to see some kind of branching paths. And there's also 2 different modes. You can either play together, cooperatively, or you can play against each other where I guess the name of the game comes Hidden Agenda. You get like a hidden agenda and you have to push the narrative in a certain way. Which is where, Jackbox games, Chris, have those kind of like what's the word? Lying, basically. Lying is a game mechanic. So, for fibbage, you have to make up a fact and have everyone believe it, but it's a false fact. Okay. So basically, it's about lying and lying to people. And they've taken that from the Jackbox games and kind of put it in there where people have hidden agendas and they can kind of like push things in a certain way to win points and ultimately win. But we played a little bit of that mode and we didn't like it so much compared to the main story, because the story is like, as far as we're concerned, it's like the main draw. It's really good. But the problem is, so we decided to replay because we got, and this is going to sound like blowing our own trumpets a little bit, but we got quite far into the story. There are kind of like places where you can go wrong that we managed to miss. So first time through, we got through to like 90% the right way, and then we kind of fluffed it, and that is, I'll hold my hands up, that is my fault. I said we should run away when we shouldn't have run. Well, no, actually, we should have run away. And I said, hand ourselves into the police, because I felt that we had evidence sufficient enough to clear our name, but apparently we didn't.
You fool!
Yeah. So, but the problem is, I really wish that there was some kind of checkpointing system where you could go, okay, let's pick up a game from this point in the story, and we'll be able to kind of like reload it and make different choices, but instead you have to sit through the whole thing again, and it like completely crushes like any desire that you might have to like play it through, because we got 90% of the way through. Even if it said, look, you can only go back, the game is separated into 3 parts, so if it said you can only go back to the start of part 3, or you can only go back to start part 2, whatever, it would just save some time, and it would make you feel like, oh, let's find out what happens if you do this instead. While now it's just kind of like, how many like, what is the least number of playthroughs I can do to get all the trophies?
Yeah. See, that's where I draw a line with games like that, is that it's not actually fun to play once you can know the story. The button pressing of the gameplay, that kind of stuff just falls completely out, doesn't carry it anymore. And I noticed that when I played Until Dawn, because I was recording it, because I was like going to be YouTube famous. I was recording it on the day that it released. Little did I know that people already had full playthroughs of review copies or whatever. But anyway, I got to like halfway through, and I lost the recording. Like a whole scene just wasn't recorded for some reason.
Oh, that's crushing.
Yeah, and I was like, well, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be YouTube famous. So I went back as far as I could, and then like just spending 10 minutes trying to get back to where I was so I can re-record that thing, doing the same choices because I didn't want any deviation in the story. It was just it was so boring. God damn it. Like, I know you hate her for some reason. Yep. Click. Click. Yep. Oh my God. I could do something else, but no, I'm gonna be YouTube famous. I'm gonna do this.
I
powered through it that way.
I found that with those types of games, it's like Heavy Rain as well. Once you've played it through once and the mystery's gone,
it's just frustrating.
You're like, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to do this again.
Yeah,
and there are a couple of things. I mean, apart from the fact that the game is pretty, and so every scene they want to show that the character's got rain on their face. Yeah. This does want to be Heavy Rain, and it in some ways it's better. I mean, story I think is a little bit better. Apart from the reveal in Heavy Rain is a bit more of like a gutter punch than this game's reveal. We managed to work out who the killer was before we actually failed the first time, and then really condescendingly, after all the credits rolled, we got a cutscene that shows you who the killer is. Like, it's supposed to be the game going, aha, look, it was this guy, and we're kind of like, yeah, we knew that, we just didn't press X at the right point. It's Nice. They need to hire me because basically I would improve their products. If you're listening, Supermassive Games, I know you're big fans of the show.
Yeah, they're Essex as well. They're not Essex based, they're English based. So it's great. Maybe they are in Essex. We'll find out. No, not in Essex.
Get their address.
Man, that sounded like you just hit the keyboard with your fists. Like, let's find out.
It turns out that they are based in Guildford. So Surrey, not Essex.
Sorry, that's even closer to me. Fuck, I'm gonna get there tomorrow.
I'm gonna tweet them.
Just show up.
Tweet them.
Just show up at their house. Sorry, the building, the corporate structure, not their residence, and just ask for a job. Like, look, this is what I can do for you with my resume. Hand them the resume, and the resume just says, "I can make your games better."
Yeah. Previous references. I played Until Dawn, and I played Hidden Agenda. Yeah. See, I even said Heavy Rain there.
Almost said Heavy Agenda.
Heavy Agenda. Yeah.
That sounds like a great parody name for like a film noir mystery. Heavy Agenda.
Heavy.
It sounds like a film. A
film.
Dirty film noir. I'm trying to think of like how you would do like porn parody with film noir at the same time.
Oh no! That's
film wrong... boudoir. A film. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna
stop it. Not gonna stop it. I don't want to
continue this avenue.
I don't want to watch a porn called Heavy Agenda for I think obvious reasons.
Chris, he's got a heavy agenda.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it'd be like a chubby chaser porn, you know?
Oh my god.
Where they just get bigger and bigger and bigger people.
Yeah, and he's got one thing on his mind, and it's heavy. Yeah.
And then pizza.
Always pizza. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
That took a dark turn really quickly.
Yeah. I'm trying to steer us back.
I'm like, look, did you see what we just did?
Yeah, we kind of went there, but it is a good game. I will say that, and I will say if you can get it for like the price I paid for it, which is like £5 to £10 basically, and like you can go into Asda right now, you can get it on disc for £5 to £10. All of the Playlink games actually are about that price, even online. I picked up all of the rest of the Playlink games, and the other Playlink games are much more like Jackbox games. There's one called That's You, where everyone takes like pictures on their phone, like, and it'll say like, what would your face be if this happened, and you have to kind of like pull a pose and people vote on it, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like the Jackbox games, but with a bit more kind of functionality integrated into the phone, which I guess is why you need the app. But you know, with Hidden Agenda, there's nothing you couldn't have done on a controller. And it's a bit of a shame, really, because I think less people will pick it up because of that reason. But when it is £5 to £10, I think it's worth it, even if you only play it like once or twice. You know, it's like 3 hours of entertainment. It's like a movie.
Well,
so if you pay that much for a Blu-ray, you may as well. Especially if you like Until Dawn. I would say if you like Until Dawn or any of those games, like David Cage games or those kind of things, you'd like it.
Yeah, but at like £5 to £10, it sounds like I'm paying a heavy price.
Oh boy.
Zing! On top of that, I just realized that I don't know jack about Jackbox games.
Well, you definitely. I'd like if you ever have a couple of people round, I really recommend it because everyone's got a phone these days, pretty much, that could play along with it. So and they're fairly cheap and they are good value. You definitely get the money out of them if you have friends around.
Well, I
Tom,
do.
I just said earlier that I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. There's no friends in my house.
I also love the way Tom just completely ignored your pun as well.
Which pun?
Was it the heavy price one? Or no, it was the I don't know Jack about Jackbox games one. I think.
Yeah, and he's just like, I ain't even fucking acknowledging that.
Nope, deftly parried.
It's like it's a non-starter because they've already thought about that, and that's why it's called that.
Yeah.
So,
well, whatever.
You don't know Jack.
You're kind of like you're riding on the jacks of yeah. Never mind. Matt, how have you been?
I've been good. Thanks for asking.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
I did finish Silent Hill 2 last weekend. Finally got that done. So that's 2 out the way. Now on to 3. And the ending to 2 is still very emotional.
It really is.
Which ending did you get?
Got the Leave ending again. I always seem to get that.
Okay. I think canonically that is the ending, isn't it?
I think. See, it depends on who you ask. There's like hard. It seems very split actually down the middle. A lot of people prefer the Leave ending, and there's a lot of people that just think that the water ending should be canonical. But I'm not sure. I mean, that's the thing. I think they both work because the Leave ending, he does finally meet Mary, and she does forgive him, and she tells him to just move on. Whereas obviously the in water ending, he doesn't take it too well and starts to kill himself. He knows to do. But no, I think both of them work. But Believe ending's the first one I got as well, so that's why it's always going to be probably my favourite one because it's the first
I think for
one
most people that tends to be the one they get first, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more hopeful considering the rest of the game is so depressing and I think it's almost like he does literally go through hell to redeem himself. So
yeah, it's kind of like I think it boils down for me, like, if I love the characters and I want them to have happy things happen to them, or whether the edgelord in me wins out and I go, yeah, dark ending, because, yeah, dark.
But I mean, also, if James does kill himself, like in the in water ending, how does the little girl get back?
Well,
because she gets a lift with Eddie initially. She meets Eddie on the way to Silent Hill, and he's the one that drives her there.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the it's again because it's a Japanese game, so it's got one of those. If you leave it at the title screen, it's got like a little cutscene, and it shows characters making their way there. It's got little cutscenes that will never be in the game, but you know what those games are like. Mm-hmm. Because that's things I never watched those in any game because in the past we might have even spoken about it before. You get the cutscenes at the beginning, and it just shows you like 90% of the cutscenes in the game and spoils everything.
They just
like, so he's a villain. Oh, he's a villain. Great, cool.
Yeah.
Why is it? Oh, he's in my party at the moment. Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It'd be like if you're watching an intro to FF7 and you see Sephiroth kill Aerith.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, well, I'm not using her then.
Yeah. I'm not using her at all. Someone else is going to be the healer.
Yeah, fuck that girl. Yeah, so, but yeah, it's at the beginning there. She, I can't remember the little girl's name now for some reason.
Isn't it Laura?
Laura, yeah.
AKA Fartface.
Yeah. you fart face.
Leave that bitch in the town. I don't care.
Let her make her own
called
way,
us a Fartface, and she locked us in a room with like 3 very nasty monsters.
Yes, nasty vagina lip monsters that went to eat me. So that's clearly what they are. But yeah, so in the leave ending, he leaves with Laura, and I assume he would either adopt her or help her in some way. So
yeah,
I like it. It's more optimistic, that ending, I think.
I try to think of
Well,
what it would be like on day 1 of adoption. You know, like they're at James's house and they just kind of look at each other like, "What the fuck did we go through? Didn't you lock me in a room with monsters? You're grounded."
Monsters.
Yeah, how do you come back from that? I guess again the answer is pizza.
Yes,
that's the only way to forge relationships after horrific events.
The problem is, he's got no leg to stand on because A, she can't see the monsters anyway because to her the town looks normal, and B, she could just throw straight back, "You killed your wife." Like, good point. Do you want some ice cream?
Do you want some ice cream?
Please don't sell the authorities. No, buy your horse. How about that?
He's like, yeah, I did kill my wife, but then I went on a journey of self-discovery through labyrinthine hellscapes. So really, I kind of made up for it.
Yeah.
And again, she'll just go, "Fuck are you talking about?" Like, damn it, she couldn't see it.
Or it could be like, "I went through a journey of self-discovery through labyrinthine hellscapes, and I'm not afraid to do it again, Laura."
She's like, "Wait, hey James, calm down. We're all friends here. Put the pillow down.
Pillow down.
Please."
Is that a Dakimakura pillow, James? Sorry.
I know what one of those is because you said it before.
Yeah. It's also a fun word to say, Dakimakura.
I'm just wondering, like, would he have like not a fear of them, but be a bit anxious around any kind of pillows? Like, I can't have too many pillows in my room. I've seen what they can do.
I've seen what they can do. I don't trust them. They're shifty.
They can kill people, man.
Oh, man.
Now I'm just thinking of a world where James goes back and he's just got like severe post-traumatic stress disorder. Get him away from me!
He just sleeps on a hard bed with no mattress.
He can't watch the movie Labyrinth.
He avoids all tourism brochures for Egypt.
Ah! It's okay, it's okay. It's a big one.
Man, I haven't been through a Silent Hill game in a long time.
It's fun. The second one, when we finished it, it still holds up remarkably well, and it still looks graphically really fucking good.
Yeah, it's rich. You know,
it's insane. Especially you think when it came out was like 2001, and the lighting is just so good for a game of that time as well.
We're all Silent Hill fans here. Do we all have the Silent Hill HD quotation marks collection?
No,
I do
because
not have it.
I was told to stay away
because of its reputation.
Yeah, I heard that they really especially with the fog-covered town areas, that they really balls up. Because the story I heard is that they'd lost the Finnish code.
Yeah.
So they had to work on like an older version and try and complete it. That's what I heard, which might explain the graphical hiccups. Because probably some of the lip syncing's really fucked as well. Even more so.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. What I played of it, I was very surprised when I was watching the cutscenes, and like the cutscenes lip syncing was wrong, but it's like the entire audio track was off by like a half a second.
Oh,
and
that's horrible.
Yeah, I didn't know why that would be. It's Konami.
That sounds like something. Yeah, that sounds like something. Even if someone had written this in really kind of like archaic, weird, like coding that doesn't follow today's modern conventions of gaming, if everything is off by a second, surely there's some way you could kind of like chop a second off the source file, or just to get it back in place.
Yeah, it's just
Konami.
Weird.
Well, I would say, I'm coming for you. I'm going to get a job and make your games better, but you don't make games anymore.
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do? Make their football games better? Even better, but it's already good. I guess I better just go and work on some pachinko machines then. Pro Evo Pachinko. Pull the lever, score a goal.
But
that's how it goes.
Yeah, I was telling a friend about my love for Final Fantasy again, and she was talking about, like, I thought Silent Hill was your thing. And I was kind of like, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Like, one day in the past, it really was my thing. It was, like, the only thing. And other survival horror games as well were the only things that really, like, captivated me, because they were always unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, my brain just sort of went back in time. I was like, Silent Hill, yeah, that was a time in my life, though. That wasn't really, like, the best games to play. It was just sort of a phase. And I'm not going to say it's over now. I haven't called them in a long time. You know?
It's like when you realise you're not in love with someone anymore. It's like, we've just grown apart. Ships in the wind.
The problem is, Chris, you were there in the chapel getting ready to be married to Silent Hill when you kind of went, no, it's been Final Fantasy all along, and then you dashed to the airport as quickly as you could.
It was like the ending of The Graduate. Like Final Fantasy just runs in and starts banging on the window, like, Mr. Riker!
Yeah.
My God, it's you! I loved you all along.
And see, the problem is, if you try to do a mad dash to the airport now, you're gonna get arrested. Probably the 5th or 6th second you're in the building. So I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, don't try running past those barriers, man. It's not a good idea. That's what I was going to say as well. Obviously,
no guns, no bombs, no dramatic gestures of love.
But it's for love. So we've all made fun of the voice acting in Silent Hill, and I always make fun of the voice acting in particular Resident Evil 1 because it's hilarious. You know, like, no, don't open that door. You know, that stuff. But
that's so bad it's good. You did your video on Resident Evil Survivor, which is so bad it's bad.
Exactly. Oh, it's just terrible. But I was watching I can't remember how I got about. It's one of those things where you just get on like it's the Wikipedia hole and you just keep going on to more and more articles. I ended up watching one video on Resident Evil 3, and then now all my suggestions on YouTube is like Resident Evil videos. I'm like, fuck's sake. So I'm watching videos by this guy called Residents of Evil. He's pretty good. He like plays through mods of like Resident Evil 2 and 3 and stuff. He does videos as well. And he was no, it wasn't even him. It was someone else again because of the suggestions. And the guy was saying the person who voices Albert Wesker now, someone C. Douglas or something. He was interviewed and he defended the original voice actor for Wesker in Resident Evil 1. He said, I'm going to defend those guys because the problem is, back then, when obviously voice acting was a new thing in games, what they would do is they would just sit the actor down in a booth with the lines and give them no direction and give them no context to the lines. So they don't know what they're supposed to be reacting to. They've got to do the best they can from the lines they've been given. And then it would all ship off to a guy in Japan or something, sound guy, who would then just pick the takes that he thought were best.
In a language he's probably not a native speaker of.
Yeah. So, they're reading it going, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you. It's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. That's insane.
It's weird. Really weird. Like, but why can't they go near the door? Shut up and read the line. All right, don't open the door, I guess.
It's archaic and a bit silly as a kind of like a way to do it, but I guess they learned pretty quickly because, I mean, Metal Gear Solid was, like 99?
Yeah,
so that's a couple,
98.
like three or 4 years after Resident Evil, and that's, like, blew it out of the park.
Yeah, it's still really good, like, as far as voice direction and voice acting, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
voice acting goes. It's
really
still
good.
really good. It's like a bar by itself. You know, you could put all the other PS1 games under it and not over it because it's like the bar. You know?
Yeah, I remember it's still a good game on. Yeah, the voice acting's still great. And I think that's one of the reasons why it absolutely knocked my socks off when I was a kid. Because I think I was like 11 when it came out. Because I was still at high school. Because I remember. It came out on the Friday because that's when back then a lot of big games would come out on Fridays. Now it's like Tuesday or Thursday. It's weird in this country, and it's really, really strange time to release them. But they always came out on the Friday, and I remember being like, I still remember waiting for the bus home from school, and I remember getting the text message from my mum saying we got it, and being so excited, and I finished it that weekend because I just nothing else would play it. I finished it late on Saturday and then just started playing it again. But one of the reasons it blew me away was just the voice acting was so good. It was like at that time one of the closest things that really felt like I was playing like that was really cinematic, because we had like these FMV games like was it like Psychic Detective on the PS1 and you know, Ripper and Phantasmagoria and, you know, shit like that, and it was also crap and boring. And it was like watching a bad movie with bad actors, whereas this was like watching a really exciting action adventure thriller with really good voice acting.
And philosophy.
Like it was like a lot of it at the time when I was 11, I'm just like, this is going over my head, but the voices are cool, and I'm getting some of it. You know, Snake's awesome, and then you don't play Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2, and that was sad.
I never
I wonder
cared.
if like my healthy distrust of the government comes from Metal Gear Solid.
There's a patriots everywhere.
Probably.
Lalo.
Though the thing is about the government, I don't think they've ever done anything half as cool as what goes on in Metal Gear Solid. Like, I don't think that the Secretary of Defense ever gets on the phone and talks to the operative like, you will never make it out of there alive.
We're going to
Colonel
bob
Campbell
you.
has been relieved of duty.
And somehow I've picked up his codec machine that's transmitting my face. Don't ask no questions.
Yeah, never ask why you can see faces on the codec.
And now they just got more and more high res as the games went on. Like MGS4's faces were like crystal clear. But it's like, where is he looking at? Like, where does he see this?
That's like, is it coming through his eye patch? Because that's still going to be a bit too. That's a big image.
Never ask.
It's like,
we will not get to the bottom of it. And then you start asking questions like, why does Liquid need to, you know, dress up like McDonald Miller? He's only on a radio.
It's like, aha, I fooled you. What the fuck are you doing? I'm changing.
Just to get into character.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's a method actor. He has to actually, like, become McDonald Miller. He can't just, like, pretend. No, it's not good enough.
Can you imagine if, like, and if he sounded exactly like McDonald Miller as well, and he's like, you've been talking to, takes it off, and it's like, me. What are you talking about, Master? Oh, sorry, you can't actually see me, can you? I just took my glasses off and changed my hair. It's me, Liquid. Ah, Liquid!
Now I'm just imagining Ocelot.
Spoilers for Metal Gear Solid, by the way.
Oh, yeah, who cares?
Fuck you.
I'm just imagining, a Liquid Snake getting into costume, and he needs Ocelot to put his hair in a ponytail for him.
And Ocelot's just like, why are you doing this, sir? It's like, because it's funny, Ocelot. You wait till you see the look on his face, but he can't see you. Shut up and do it.
This shit's gonna be even funnier than the PAL keys.
Oh god, the PAL keys. When I first got there though, when I first played the game, like at somebody else's PlayStation, and that was the big trick. I was like, oh, that's genius. Where do I go to heat this thing up though? We're in Alaska. Oh no! I have to go all the way back.
All the way back.
Then through the cold area on top of that, and then really oh my god!
And you got to do it so quickly as well. It's cruel.
Yeah. God, I hated that, but it was still really clever.
Can you imagine if because one of my favorite bits is the really because I mean it breaks the fourth wall and it's really cool and immersive, like when you have to radio Meryl. Because you have to look at the back of the box, but I'm wondering if it's like that was a really subtle way for like anti-piracy, because you'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anyone tells you. They go, it's on the back of the CD case. You're going, but I've got a CD case in my inventory. No. You're like, no. When the internet was in its baby years at that point, like I can't find it.
You didn't have like game facts up yet, I don't think.
No.
You still had like dial-up, AOL. You might go to a chat room and ask.
They'd be like, get fucked.
Yeah. I guess it's like the equivalent of Nintendo Power doing that whole, like, you can't complete whatever it was, Little Nemo in Dreamland or whatever, until you read the guide, because there's no way in fucking hell that you can do it alone. You have to know that certain items get you certain places and stuff.
Also, we have we've spoken about the best anti-piracy ever on a game, which is Earthbound.
Yeah, what was that again?
That's you've made it to the boss before the final boss. Game freeze, delete save file. It's so cruel. It's the best. It's the best. Unless you bought a retro cart, a reproduction cart. Sorry, not knowing it was like a. Like wait, let's delete my save file.
Wait. So why would it delete your save file?
Because if it was like a copied version. It was like illegal version.
I guess there was something in the original chip that it checked, and if it wasn't there, it knew you were cheating.
Yeah, I think they'd programmed it so it should go, cool, that's great, freeze. And you go, oh shit, I better restart. I'll restart the console. Where's my save file?
I love the anti-piracy measures that make people kind of go, oh, maybe it's just this or maybe it's just that.
Yeah.
Like loads of people were posting on Batman or something like.
That was good. That was great.
Yeah, Arkham Asylum, and then like they go, yeah, you're pirating. Stop pirating our game.
Yeah, they're like, it's like my glide won't work in the underground level. I need it to get past. Like, yeah, that's because you've pirated our game.
Yeah,
banned.
I love it because it's just kind of like it exposes someone for who they. It's like Jackbox games. It's like, you know, the kind of person who has to, like, because of the game, they have to cheat and lie to the other people in the room. It's kind of like everyone knows you're bullshitting.
So that's probably the most recent one. That's my favourite. Because the Rocksteady admin was like, yeah, because you're cheating, you pirate out your game, so that's why it's happening.
Well, I might
Get
add
out.
as well, but if we talked about this before, I probably would have brought this up before. I think one of the Serious Sam games has like a invincible pink scorpion that chases you, and you can't defeat it if you're pirating the game.
It's brilliant.
Serious Sam.
Because those things are nasty anyway. Those scorpions are horrible.
Pink scorpion, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a giant invincible armored scorpion.
It's the fact that it's a pink scorpion, so it's like a really bright, horrible colour.
Well, it makes it, you know, so someone will go on a message board and go like, what's up with this fucking pink scorpion?
This game's bugged.
Cool. Now I want to play Serious Sam. Fuck, I love Serious Sam.
I still want to play Final Fantasy, any of them.
Final Fantasy Serious Sam edition, you say?
Oh yeah. They actually do have a JRPG Serious Sam.
Really?
Yes. I saw a video of it. I own it because I bought a whole bunch of stuff on Steam when it was on sale for no reason. $5? Done.
Oh my God.
Sold. But yeah, it's like Serious Sam the Random Encounter is what it's called, I believe.
That looks amazing. That genuinely looks fun.
Yeah, you might like it. It's a bit action-oriented because it's Serious Sam.
Yeah.
But also it's got JRPG elements. So there you go. I've just fused those things together for you.
That does genuinely look really fun and really silly, which is everything Serious Sam is.
Yeah, the opposite of serious.
And it's funny as well because the character himself it's almost like it's borderline making fun of Duke Nukem at times as well.
Yeah.
Because the character thinks he's so cool, and it's like,
which is a parody of a parody. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem needs to fuck off. You know, they're apparently making a film of that.
Of
Duke
what?
Nukem.
Yeah, Duke Nukem, and the big rumor is they're going to get John Cena to play Duke Nukem.
I mean, I hope so.
But, yeah. I mean, if anyone's going to play it, I guess he's perfect. But
yeah,
we don't need a Duke Nukem.
We don't need a Duke Nukem movie at all because they're not going to be able. They're not going to be able to pull that off.
No,
they'd have to get like an X rating to really pull that off. I'm not saying well, I guess not, because R rating covers a whole lot of stuff nowadays. You could have nudity and stuff like that; it'd be fine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to watch a Duke Nukem movie though. I don't even want to play Duke Nukem 3D.
This movie sucks.
Yeah, like his one-liners are great when they're spaced out with like minutes in between. I don't want him to have like full-length dialogue.
No.
So, well, this is just one running joke that's gone on for 90 minutes.
I definitely don't want Duke Nukem's backstory.
Oh my!
Like 15 minutes of Duke Nukem the kid, and then Duke Nukem the teen, then Duke Nukem the young adult, and then Duke Nukem as he is now, 45 minutes into the movie. We're just beating our heads against the hard parts of the theater chair in front of us.
Could you imagine?
No.
This thing is like, if they ever made a Duke Nukem film, all I could think of is it just be like one of those terrible like spoof movies, like disaster movie.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, remember this thing from Halo? Isn't it stupid?
Like, yeah, it's great. I remember that.
Remember Spyro?
Yeah, I do. It's better. Your piece of shit game.
I kind of want to watch this though because it's funny.
It's just 90 minutes of John Cena just standing in front of the mirror going,
This really pisses me off.
Yeah. Or like a space marine dies, and then that's one doomed space marine.
Yeah, he's like, remember Doom?
Our game's better than Doom. He died, not alive. That makes it better.
And I sleep with chicks.
Yeah.
I've probably got loads of STDs.
Yeah, I really don't want that. But
No, neither do I.
But they can roll a 20 on that and make it amazing if they just do it right. You know, it could be a lot of fun if they just do it right. Like, he doesn't need to talk that much. Like, let's stick with the one-liners, have other people, like, around him, and, like, have them just, like, I don't know, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, you know, like Commando or something. Like the movie Commando, where he doesn't, like, say anything more than just, like, you know, stick around. Oh, that's Predator, sorry. Your luggage, you know, that kind of stuff. That was Eraser, I think. Anyway.
I haven't seen Eraser in ages.
I feel like we're in the postmodern age now, and you can't... The reason those films worked was because they were trying to take it seriously, but with a dash of humour. If you approach the whole thing with just meta humour from the get-go, it's kind of hard to be genuine like those are. You know, you're kind of like cheesy grin, Arnie, kind of like...
Exactly.
You know, it would be a knowing grin.
Well, that's why I don't like the Sharknado movies, because they're trying to be like that. They're trying too hard. It's like, hey, look how stupid this is. I'm like, yeah, but the films that people, you know,
made like 7 of those things now, or at least 5. I saw 5 on Netflix the other day.
And people
not the thing. I just saw the thumbnail. I would never click on that.
Oh god, no. I mean, people always they're going to me like, oh man, like if you watch like Sharknado because you like really bad, like hilarious bad movies. I'm like, yeah, but those movies are bad and funny because they're not intentionally bad. That's where the humour derives from. Like Troll 2 isn't. If Troll 2 was supposed to be a comedy, it wouldn't be funny.
Yeah.
Because the reason it's funny is because it's so incompetent.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny. That's where the humour comes from. Because she's like, I cannot believe how bad this is.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is...
it's so annoying.
It's kind of why I'm very surprised with Josh dies at the end. Because I had no idea what I was getting into. And every scene was like... I don't want to say it was good because it was subverting my expectations, you know? It's just that I had no expectations from the get-go.
Like what you've done there, Chris, is really amazing because you don't even realise what you've done. But you didn't say John dies at the end, you said Josh. So you've actually seen a parallel dimension version of this film that we haven't.
Dude, I was struggling not to say Jack dies at the end. It wasn't Josh, it's John, whatever. J-Word dies at the end.
It's a sequel. Sequel to the games we were talking about. You don't know Jack, but he dies at the end.
Right. So
if you've ever played any of those Jackbox games and you kind of get into it with your family and being deceptive, it can end that way, trust me.
Like I was telling people at work, it was called Jason dies at the end. Like, no joke. This is like J-Word dies at the end in my brain. I just sort of fill in the blank. Jebediah dies at the end.
Kind of awesome,
Junko dies at the end. There's a Japanese version of it. I mean... But yeah.
Oh my god.
That's my way of just bringing the ship back on course after about 58 minutes.
What are you talking about?
A beautiful 58 minutes
of waffling.
Scorpions and, Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. May it rest in peace.
So John dies at the end. This was my pick. I had seen it before once. I've never read the book that it's attached to, but I was briefly perusing the Wikipedia pages of both the book and the film, and they look to be fairly similar, so I think that it's fairly good adaptation in terms of keeping all of the core details. When I watched it the first time, it was kind of mind-blowing, and I went, whoa, this is kind of really interesting and different. And it was also, I'm confused.
It's weird.
Yeah, what I remembered of it, it's surprising that I'd completely managed to blank the nudity from my mind. I was going to recommend people watch this like with their family if they wanted to, and then I happened to be watching it in a room with other people, and then suddenly there were loads of naked people, and I went, "Oh, okay."
Boy, is there egg on my face? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and egg on their faces with those weird kind of masks they were wearing, but.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, but I managed to forget an awful lot of it. Actually, I remembered the core details, and that it was a bit weird, and that it went a bit kind of Doctor Who-ish at the end in terms of like time and space and shit.
A bit weird.
Yeah, a bit weird. Yeah, a bit different. But I mean I think the guy who wrote the book gave it a brilliant title when he wrote John Dies at the End, because not only does he not die at the end, but he questionably doesn't die, or does. That's kind of the whole point, is that it's kind of like this weird paradoxes and anachronisms. So
yeah, and if you think about like how both John and his friend, what was the other character's name? Do you remember?
David,
yeah. When they're on the soy sauce and they can like see all time at once for like a while. Well, John dies at the end is sort of like, because he kind of dies halfway through, but when all time is like smashed into one particular moment, because they could see everything at once, the end is also the beginning and also the middle. So John dies is a better sentence, but in the title, John dies at the end. It's sort of like, I don't know where I'm going with that. But then I don't know where the movie is going at all. So let's just leave it there. I did enjoy it, though. I did enjoy it. I didn't really enjoy the end all that much, but that's because it had to end. And I kind of didn't want it to. I wanted to just keep bouncing around and keep me going, what? The whole time. So, but yeah, I'm glad you chose this, because it was definitely something I didn't expect, even though it wasn't necessarily scary or horrific at all. But there was elements of horror in it, so it was still worth.
It's got a meat man, Chris. It's 10 minutes in, it's got a meat man.
Yeah, well, I think the scarier part was the dick doorknob. We cannot open that door. We can't. It's like, dude, man up, grab the dick, yank the door open. It's fine. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. How about you, Matt? Your initial
Use both
kind of
hands.
I liked it. It was absolutely out of its mind, but I had no problem with that. It was fun. It was a really fun movie. It felt like towards the end of the film, especially, that they ran out of budget.
Yeah, this was actually made on a fairly kind of modest budget, actually.
Yeah, it really is. Because like the bit right at the end where they're supposed to be like in a cave system, and you could clearly tell they weren't actually in the cave. Like they're just on a green screen. But no, I thought like it was. That thing's like it's kind of like a surreal horror comedy, I suppose, if you're gonna call it that. And it was funny. That's the thing. There's nothing worse than a comedy that's not funny. It's miserable. But this made me laugh, and it was so over the top and ridiculous in places. But the movie was just having fun.
I think a lot of things try to be zany and fail. This definitely succeeds at being zany and kind of, bouncing off the wall, all kind of weird, different ideas and stuff. Yeah, because the characters are still acting, even when they've been on the source for a little bit, they're still acting like, this is fucking weird, right? That's weird.
Yeah, they're not used to it. Right? They're not used to it. At first, I was kind of annoyed with David, like in the beginning, because he seemed extremely edgelordy. I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of these movies. But then it's like, I really have no idea how anyone can approach that character. Like by the end of the movie, when he's talking to the guy writing the book, like where he's at in his mind cannot really be pinned down by any experience I've ever had. So it's like I can't really say how that character should be. So a little like gravelly edgelordy, I guess, is permitted here. But at first, it did annoy me.
Yeah, because I think as it goes on, because they're both dorks, really, aren't they? Let's be honest.
More like slackers.
And I think,
like they don't really seem to have hobbies either. That's the thing. That's what separates them from dorks to slackers. They don't have hobbies or anything. They sort of lay on a couch and hang out, drink beer, watch TV, which isn't really much of a hobby, so I don't count it.
No, save the world.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
But I think it's at the beginning. You really like as the movie goes on, you realize they are like that. I think at the beginning it's almost like he's trying to come across as cool. Because this guy's interviewing me, so I gotta be cool, and I know stuff, and really, you just know that he's just like, I'm winging it.
And very much kind of like it drops you in at the deep end as well. It kind of it basically begins with a really surreal version of the Theseus paradox, which is if you replace all the bits of a ship, is it the same ship? So if you replace all the pieces of your axe based on kind of like zombies attacking you, is it the same axe?
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think that kind of sums up the quirkiness of the movie. But then what he does is we know that he's talking to this reporter about giving all of the details, but he doesn't begin at the beginning. He then goes into kind of some stuff they've done post the events of the movie.
Yeah.
Which kind of helps in this whole kind of jumbled up time is happening in a very non-linear way kind of thing. But it is also at the start, I feel it's a bit kind of daunting because obviously as the viewer, you're trying to piece together, a kind of a timeline or a rough narrative.
Yeah.
And I think it deliberately tries to piss you around at the start with that to make it more confusing, to give it kind of an impact. You're kind of like, whoa, okay, this movie does not want to make sense at the moment.
Yeah, because then, the premise, like, people would just say, oh, it's about two friends that after taking a drug, like, fight monsters and save the world. And you're like, oh, it's gonna be like, oh, I get it. So it's just gonna be like Buffy or something. Oh, right. And it's not. It's...
Yeah, and it could be very easily handled in that way and be just like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just weird. It was a movie that I remember when it was in production because it's directed by Don Coscarelli, who made the first 4 Phantasm movies, and he did Bubba Hotep as well.
Which
is quite funny. That's the one with Bruce Campbell plays Elvis at a retirement home, and he's actually the real Elvis. And they're like, how are you the real Elvis? He's like, you don't understand. I got bored, and I gotta stand in, and he died.
Isn't the other person he's with like JFK who got color changed or something?
Yeah,
is that right?
Ossie Davis plays him, and he's dead now, but he was a black actor, and he's like, I'm John F. Kennedy. Like, how can you be John F. Kennedy? Like, the CIA put my brain in a jar. I got a head full of sand.
Wow. Yeah, I remember reading the blurb for this movie, and I thought, I've got it on Blu-ray somewhere in my storage. I've never watched it. I need to.
And he's in a wheelchair. And there's like a mummy going around at this retirement home killing people. So it's just like old Elvis and maybe JFK in a wheelchair trying to fight him. It's ridiculous, but it's really fun. So yeah, I knew the director beforehand, so I was really interested in this. And then I think it just went quiet for a while, and I just completely forgot about it. And it wasn't until you brought it up that I remembered it. So it's good.
The only reason I watched it was because my wife had read the book. And she said the book was very interesting, and then she saw that there was a live action, adaptation that had been done. So we sat down and watched it, and I must have watched it actually not long after it came out. So I'm looking at it here, release date 2013. Yeah, it had probably just come out when we watched it.
Probably, that would make sense.
Yeah. I mean, the guy, apparently David Wong, he's also literally, that is his name, and he's the writer of the book.
Yeah, I noticed that in the credits. I thought that was pretty crazy. I didn't know if that was part of like the fourth wall breaking feeling of the movie, but yeah.
I
guess
sure.
It kind of is, but apparently it started as kind of like an online blog thing. Kind of like a kind of interactive fiction almost. Not interactive, but being put up online in segments, kind of like a creepypasta, I guess, or proto-creepypasta.
That was apparent, and that's apparently why it was called John Dies at the End as well, as it was to ensure that people would come back to read the next segment as well.
Nice.
That makes sense.
And also, he changed his online name to David Wong. I think I read somewhere that was because because of the type of blogs that he was writing and stuff. He didn't want his work colleagues to find out, because I think it was about stuff about them. So that's what I read anyway. So, but yeah, I really want to read the graphic novel.
Yeah. Futuristic violence and fancy suits. And then what the hell did I just read?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I've also only just realised now, Googling David Wong, that he is also, because he changed his name, he's not Asian. So that whole joke in the movie is like a meta joke as well.
Yeah. No. Well, that, and it's really so full of non sequiturs, we'd have to talk about the entire plot. And at the end, it still wouldn't make any sense. So, yeah, let's skip that.
Yeah. I maybe John even more so than David, but I really like John for some reason. Just he reminds me of kind of like a golden retriever. He's just so happy and kind of like laid back and cool as well. Yeah. Yeah. He's the guy from Highlander, isn't he? Did he play the Kurgan? Yeah. I thought so. Marconi. I think so, and it was kind of like he's like, I don't know, I guess like Darren Brown on acid. I'm trying to think of a spiritualist who's that big in terms of like celebrity. I can't really think of any. Yeah, yeah. He's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they call him up, and it's farcical, but it works. It just works for some reason. Like, and again, like a movie like Sharknado would make it too goofy.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys about Paul Giamatti. I love him in this movie. I think he's great. It's one of my favourite bits, especially when the reveal about his character is given, and he's in denial about it. It's
I felt so bad for him.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I felt so bad.
And I think Dave genuinely felt bad. He's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he feels bad, but he's also he's seeing all of this shit. He's kind of like, it's just, yeah, it's another day at the office, really. Yeah. I'm sorry, you're dead. You're not really you. I'm
sorry about that. Yeah, he's great. I mean, Paul Giamatti's always brilliant anyway, but it's really surprising to see him turn up in something like this as well. He must have, because I think he had a producing credit, didn't he?
Yeah. I've been reading the Wikipedia page, and he's quoted as saying the novel is an embarrassment of riches, and what's going to be tragic is what we have to cut, because we will have to cut stuff. And he also praised the actors as well. So I think he was really involved in the process. I think he must have been a fan of the book originally, and
he must have been
kind of helped birth it to screen.
Because it's not. I mean, he's a pro anyway, and he's always good in everything he's in.
Yeah.
But it's like when sometimes you get like a well-known actor in a low-budget movie like this, and they're just doing it because they got paid, and they're just like doing it. They're going through the motions. You're like, yeah, I'm doing something. Yeah, that'd be fun. I'll do some silly movie. But he seemed like he was giving everything. I mean, he's a pro anyway, but
it really does seem like he gives a shit.
Yeah, but I've seen so many films
made in the first place.
Yeah, I've seen so many films like this where you get a known actor and they just don't care, and you can tell they don't care.
Hi there, guys. Future Tom here. This is the point in the cast where Matt's microphone decided to lose its shit and record nothing but a glitched facsimile of Matt's worthwhile and intelligent contribution to the cast. To avoid a gap in our episode numbering, and because I hate myself, I've tried my very best to edit together the rest of the conversation sans Matt. That is what follows this announcement. Hopefully, it is 2/3 as enjoyable as the cast has been up until now.
The Bye Bye Man comes into mind, I think.
Yeah.
With the lady who played Trinity. I can't remember her name.
Yes, yeah.
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 She was in there.
Didn't she have some really cheesy line? I can't remember what it is now.
Yeah.
I've managed to block most of that film from memory. Yeah, if we listen, of course, it's not live yet at the moment, but we can tell the listener, basically, we tried to produce our first Halloween special episode. It was 2017. We watched The Bye Bye Man. And yeah, you might have been able to tell from some of the jokes we've made on the podcast around that time that we had recently submitted ourselves to The Bye Bye Man. And that material probably will get released at some point, either as a special for Patreons, if we were get a Patreon, or maybe we'll just release it as kind of like here's this kind of thing that we birthed that wasn't quite as good as proper things. We will try again this year with a Halloween special, and maybe we'll release it around that time. But we spent a long time in that podcast making fun of a certain line that she said, and I can't for the life of me remember.
I can't remember it either. The only thing I remember was the wink. Like she
yeah,
gives
she
that
winked,
wink.
didn't she? Fuck,
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that too.
Yeah, she winked at one of the dudes. Dude's like, "What?" And then she like act like, "What? I didn't do anything like that." Oh man, that'd be terrible if that was like her contribution to the scene, and they're just like, "Well, we don't have enough film to redo the scene. We're just gonna keep it. We're just gonna fucking keep it." And then like at the premiere, did anyone mention my winking scene? No, no one mentioned it at all. No one liked it.
Thanks for reminding me this existed.
Oh yeah, she was the best. But see, my problem with John Dies at the End isn't so much like it's a bad movie. It's a well-constructed, well-produced like production. Like the overall material that makes it up is high quality. The thing I don't like though is that I don't know if I like it genuinely or if I like it because it just confused me the whole time. You know, like there's that nagging in the back of my head, like I don't get what's going on 98% of the time, even at the end where they give you like the end. Like, oh, okay. Ha 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 ha. Like sort of like a hollow, yeah. Sort of like a hollow, uncertain laugh, and then yeah, sure, I liked it, and then I walk away. And then I'm thinking, did I like it though? What do I like about it? I can't really put my finger on it. I don't like David or John. Either one of those characters. Paul Giamatti is great in everything he's in. Like Matt said, he's a pro, so every time he's there, it's like, you know, he got some high quality acting going on right there. I didn't really care about like the subplot with the investigator who just like went vigilante for no real reason. Like I'm gonna burn out the hell that's in my town. Like, you know, you're not. What? What are you doing? Stop that. That's crazy. Yeah. I'm gonna shoot some kids and burn this house down, and I'm gonna get away with it. I mean, I guess so. You're a cop, but come on now. But like, I would watch the movie again for the bratwurst scene. That was so fucking funny. That was so well done. I mean, I was like in my head, I was like, he's gonna put the bratwurst to his ear and act like it's the phone. He did do that. Oh my god! And then it's like John's still talking to him through the bratwurst just to illustrate. With pinpoint clarity that he is not on the phone. The phone is dead. The bratwurst is now talking to him. You don't need the phone anymore. What are you doing?
And he's like, I would have had more money if you hadn't made me buy the sausage to prove this.
Yeah,
oh,
like
so
everything around that scene was fantastic. Like the whole plot sort of twisting together in a way that was recognizable, and it was an actual comedy, and I was along for the ride. But like up to that point, it was just sort of like being hit from nowhere over and over and over again. Like you have that Rastafarian guy doing the magic tricks, and like okay, but I saw David do these tricks to Paul Giamatti, whose real character name I don't know. So is this where he learns that stuff? Is this Rastafarian guy going to be a main character? No. Like, for some reason, all the other black characters in movies, he dies. And like, okay, so why did we have that guy? We didn't... and then what about the zombie in the beginning? The one whose head is being chopped off with the axe, so he can illustrate the point of if you replace the axe head and the axe handle, is it the same axe? Yes or no? Like, what happened to that zombie? Where in the timeline did that zombie fit? You know?
I think that's way after. That's that, and maybe even the meat monster bit as well is way after the events of the actual movie, and the interview with I guess his name is it Blondestone, Arnie Blondestone,
Arnie something.
The interview with Paul Giamatti. That may well come after everything, like sort of, and it's just being interspersed into the middle of it.
Yeah. But then there's
I think there's definitely like a point where you can say this is John and Dave's first paranormal adventure, and that's the one he's recounting to him. To Arnie, but they also then go on to become paranormal investigators, and they have the adventure with the meat monster, and they have the adventure with the zombie that they need to chop the head off, that kind of thing. Yeah, and kind of going, we're just going to go back for a bit. Yeah, and it's like, how bummed would you be if like the Saviours of Your Universe turn up, and it's those guys, and they just kind of like make an excuse and leave. He didn't die at the end at all.
Yeah. See, that I actually had the opposite reaction to that. That felt like a very lukewarm way to end the movie when everything else was so explosive and twisty and weird that he's just like, meh, and then they roll credits, and then it's like...
it did feel like it was carrying on a bit after where it should have ended, but I do like that it subverts some of the expectations in that he doesn't die at the end.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because remember when I said this would be a great movie before I'd seen the movie, if it was a bunch of people named John, and you had to figure out which one of the Johns died at the end.
Yeah,
that would have been a fun movie. I don't know what the rest of the movie would have been, but I thought that would be pretty fun. So watching this movie...
I think at the time I made a reference to the Gary Vault as well, because every time you say that, that's what it reminds me of from Fallout 3. The
Gary Vault, yeah. There aren't actually a whole lot of I'm sorry, like the bratwurst joke was fantastic. And then, like, the only other joke I can really remember between the bratwurst joke and anywhere else was the shit stain joke. Remember the rapper, like, Thug Life white guy who gets killed? And he's like, you can call me whatever you want. Call me shit stain. And it's like, they do legit call him shit stain every time afterwards. Like, they remain faithful to that new name of his, and he's unblinking, unfazing, accepts that it's his new name. Yeah.
And the thing is, he does die, and that is true. But you don't feel like cheated by that,
right? But see, like, that's where I'm starting to like have hazy feelings about this movie, is because John knows that Fred is supposed to die, and they don't do anything to prevent it, which means that they don't have any real control over their fate, because John already knows what's going to happen. And they don't do anything to change what they're supposed to do, you know? Like, it seems like a linear plot line, and they're supposed to like be these all knowers, and they don't really change anything at all.
That's the thing, isn't it? He, like, the first time David takes the soy sauce, he sees the munitions factory where that bullet was made.
Yeah. That
is going to be fired at him. So I guess they have seen everything that's going to happen or will happen. So it does kind of, where'd you go from there?
Yeah, that's what kind of puts a hole in the whole movie for me, because I don't see how they can continue to show any emotion towards something. Well,
the one thing I will say is, even despite that, they still appear to be flustered and bumbling for the large part of it, and not necessarily knowing exactly what the plan is.
Yeah.
And thank God for Barkley, who saved us all.
Barkley.
Yeah, and then is it Marconi who says, like, you guys were just, like, vessels for him to come through so that Barkley could save the world? Like, you guys were just here to distract.
Yeah. No, but nothing is. Like, I don't ever want to say that anything should be perfect, but that to me is where I'm like, I don't know if I like the movie or if it's a smart movie or not. Because it's definitely a unique and fun movie to watch. I mean, I can throw a whole bunch of adjectives that are positive and negative about the movie, but like, end all be all, fun movie to watch. I would totally watch it again. I would watch it 3 or 4 times with new people each time. Like, it's a good movie to watch. I'll just say all that.
Yeah, because you kind of, it's about reacting to it and going, what the hell is going on? And yeah, it's all of those things. It's definitely science fiction. It's definitely it's got elements of horror, like with those kind of like monsters that are just out of like the corner of your eye, you can barely see them.
Yeah, I liked especially that the spider didn't attack anybody. It was just there. Like, it's always there, we just don't see it. Out. Yeah, we don't see it. It's always there, we don't see it. That's like the best way to have done that scene, because when you do the thing where it's like, it's a monster, now you see it, it sees you, and it's going to attack you, kind of like The Fog or The Mist, or whichever one that was called, or like Jurassic Park, anything, where like we're going to eat you because you're humans, we're going to go all the way out of our way to hunt your asses down. Like, if you just have it like exist in its natural environment, that is infinitely creepier, because you don't know what it's supposed to do, just like an actual spider that you would see in your actual life. Yeah. Well, it also kind of weirdly follows that conundrum. Like, let's say you're like a 7 or 8-year-old kid and you're scared of like the closet or whatever, like monsters in the closet, and you have this unreasonable fear that there's a monster in the closet and it's going to get you. As long as you stay awake, it can't get you though. It's like, if there's a monster in the closet, it would just get you because it's not going to worry about you defending yourself. You're a little boy. So
unless it wants to fuck with you, Chris.
See, I think that's where the problem is. Like, you can't. We shouldn't be assuming that monsters want to fuck with us. Like, every ghost movie we ever watch, the ghosts are like behind you, but you can only see them in the mirror, and then you turn around, like, gone, poof, fucking with you.
I just want a ghost movie where the ghost is like there and no one sees them, and they're like ready to go boo.
Yeah.
But no one actually turns around. And they're like, oh man.
I just feel like a ghost in this family or something. Yikes. No, we're not watching that movie.
This summer, Duke Nukem will meet a monster.
Oh, no. No. Duke Nukem, depressed monster buddy cop movie. Here we go. If you say so. Yeah, that almost sounded like Christian Bale Batman more than Duke Nukem. Where are the records? Where's Rachel? Like, Batman, you sound parched. So yeah, like, I don't know what else to say about the movie because everything is so jumbled and mishmashed and satisfying, but also subversive and weird.
Well, how did you feel about the parallel dimension with the naked people and the masks?
The bestiology.
I love the fact they call it out and they say this is Eyes Wide Shut like world.
Yeah. I thought it was actually pretty smart, except for the whole origin, the bestiology part. Like that, like no, none of that shit would happen. But like, I could see this civilization surviving. I could understand what they do and how they do it and why they do it. So I thought that was really well written, if nothing else. Though the nakedness was unclear at best. But hey, whatever. They have a different culture, and they did a good job representing a different culture of the same people.
Yeah. Well, it leads me on to like a kind of a question based around the movie. But I was going to say, I feel, and I mean, this is a bit of a spoiler for like, basically, I'm trying to write a book at the moment. I've got like an idea in my head about this kind of like novel series I want to write, and it's essentially, it's what's called low fantasy, I guess. It's not like orcs and shields and kind of like J.R.R. Tolkien. It's more like yeah, I'm sorry. But it's going to be, it does involve parallel worlds, like parallel dimensions. And I feel like right now, John Dies at the End is not alone. Like, there's an awful lot of things that kind of like use parallel dimensions as kind of a cop-out. And I just wondered how you guys feel about parallel dimensions in horror films and whether they're kind of like a very convenient way to kind of just explain plot details away, or go, here, we're going to travel now to a world that is just like ours but not quite. I'm trying to think of examples, but I mean, like, we've done a couple of movies like The Mist where, it's a parallel dimension invading ours, so that's why everything is like weird and alien. Or what else have we done? Do you think it's kind of like a fear of our society at the moment, especially with like I know it was kind of like a minor joke when the Large Hadron Collider was invented, like I guess back in like 2008 or something. They're kind of like, oh, the world's going to end, they're going to punch a hole and everything's going to fuck up. It's kind of like, once it's Pandora's box, it's like once you open the door to an next dimension, you kind of can't really shut it again.
Yeah, we gotta know. You can't just not know.
Their dimension might like have like ham sandwiches that fall from the sky every half hour,
Yeah, live on Ham Sandwich Mountain. Awesome. They have like ancient ham sandwich materials to make like dressers and things out of. This is made out of like ham sandwiches that fell back in 1882 or something like that.
Yeah.
My thing about alternate dimensions is that you can definitely use that for horror easily, because if nothing else, the isolation of being really close to home by just a portal, but there is no portal, that kind of stuff. But I also used to play a game called Planescape Torment I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Yeah, I've got this friend. Shout out to Justin, who probably doesn't listen to this, but he was on the Silent Hill forum.
Fuck
actually.
you, Justin. All right.
No. Justin's a good guy. He's from Ohio. I don't know if that counts, but yeah, he's a cool guy. I've just doxed him.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, me and Chris have mentioned the Silent Hill forum before, and I met him on there. I won't disclose his name on there in case that really does dox him, but he's a really cool guy, and he basically bought me Planescape Torment on GOG and said, you have to play this, and that was about 6 years ago. I still haven't played it.
I know.
But I've heard it's a really good game.
Yeah. Well, I'd advise you to play it now if you're going to be writing a book with alternate dimensions, because Planescape is a role-playing campaign setting or world that deals with nothing but alternate dimensions. The cool thing about it is that a gate can open anywhere in any enclosed circular like thing, like a threshold, a door threshold, or if you put your fingers together. If you have a circle there, you know what I'm saying? And the
any
key,
kind of enclosure.
Yeah, any enclosure. And the key can be anything. A noun, a person, place, idea, an emotion. So like if you're angry in the blacksmith shop, then suddenly the door to the blacksmith shop can become a portal to some other random place. And that kind of thing. It's pretty interesting. There was also a lady named, I think she was called the Lady of Pain. Or the Lady of Blades. Not the Queen of Blades. Anyway. But she's like this, the ruler, so to speak. She doesn't speak or do anything. Yeah. And the city is called Sigil, I believe it's called. And when she comes to find you, because you did some shit in Sigil that I can't even remember what the things you can't do are, she will lock you away into an alternate dimension where you basically will die. Not because you die from like heat stroke or whatever. It's just you're going away to infinite prison in some random dimension somewhere else. Yeah, like some other stuff like that. And yeah, like horror-wise, you can open a portal to an infinite plane of fire where there's nothing but combustion. You know? That reminds me also another game, Myst. Have you ever heard of Myst? Myst?
Yeah, I've heard of Myst, yeah.
Yeah. Myst is amazing. I definitely recommend playing it. It's a big puzzle game, though. Lots of mechanical stuff. Anyway, that entire game premise is about a race of people who can write stories into books that actually open gateways to those stories in the book. So, like prison.
Never-ending Story.
Yeah, kind of like that, I guess. So prison for two of the characters is basically somebody wrote a book, and the story is a prison, and they just push that person in the book, close the book, he's in prison forever, or until they release him. But then they also rip the pages out of the book so that he can't leave at all. Like now the world is completely destroyed, and he's in that dimension, like floating in limbo forever. And part of the story of Myst is finding those pages and putting it back in. And you get like these really like weird half in, half out communications where they're trying to introduce themselves and tell you who they are and why they should be free. And there's like a red book and a blue book, and there's two different people in each book. And then you find out that they're brothers, and you find out that they like wronged their father in some way. But in the end of the game, you can like put either the final red page or the final blue page. Either way, whatever you do there, it'll just trade places with you and the person whose book you just completed. And then you see them from the other side of the book ripping the pages out of the book you just fell into.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it's like, fuck.
Oh,
but
that's mean.
There's a third ending, and it's the good ending, and I'll just let that be where it is, because if you do end up playing it, there'll be something for you to look forward to.
I'm definitely intrigued. I mean, it's one of those things that just it came out when I was too young to have played it, and since then kind of technology has moved on, but I would like to play it. And
the other thing about like extra planar or other dimensional things is that you can do anything in your imagination and make that somehow work in your horror, like Stranger Things is a great example.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Stranger Things because that's kind of like I guess more the concerns of like biological implications of other worlds coming into ours in terms of like what they would actually do to our kind of like environment and stuff, and crops would fail and that kind of thing. It reminds me of The Dark Tower, which is one of my favorite book series of all time. I'm a big Stephen King nut. and that deals with lots of parallel worlds. And actually, it's kind of been tricky for me to think about my book series without going, oh wait, that's the Dark Tower. Oh wait, that's literally the Dark Tower. So it's been a cool exercise. And another thing that I read when I was young, his Dark Materials is another book series that deals heavily with kind of like, that guy's literally got a knife that can cut between worlds to kind of create an opening. So
yeah,
that's really cool. I haven't seen the Dark Tower movie, actually, the Abomination that came out last September that everyone seems to think was completely shit, which wouldn't surprise me. But there was a fun moment in the trailer where this guy called Roland, who's he exists in a world that's far after ours. Like, there was a nuclear war and then magic actually kind of like happened and stuff. And the doctor runs a test and he goes, you've got everything. You've got Hep C, B, A. You've got like every disease known to man, like running in his system, because like that's the kind of thing I like about parallel worlds. Is like, it's, I guess you kind of get that with time travel as well, where it's kind of like, if you go back, like everyone would die immediately because you carry all these bugs in your system. And if you went into the future, you'd die immediately because everyone else is carrying bugs that you don't have, like, the body to fight against. So
yeah. So maybe there are time travelers. They just all die.
Yeah, they all get here and like they immediately just like kind of, well, no, I guess, yeah, because they would have to be traveling back in time, but then maybe they kill everyone they come into contact with so no one knows they're here. But I think there's a danger with parallel universes in horror movies and stuff like that, is that it's a very easy plot device. You can, like you said, you can literally think up any kind of universe with nasty things that you want, and it's all about kind of like them invading into our space or us getting trapped in their space.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to just kind of like rely on that as like a trope. And I Stranger Things, I think, is kind of fresh. It's got its own kind of 80s style that helps with things like that. But I feel like there is a kind of, I don't know, but to me, especially with this, like, MCU and DC Comics, they have kind of like, oh yeah, this is Earth 612 or whatever. Yeah. It's just like, you can dilute it down to the point where it's like, well, if there are infinite universes, and I guess there is a universe where everyone's a spider monster and we really don't want to go to that universe.
Well, see, there's two things. One thing is that your potential audience may not have ever read an extraplanar horror story before. So even though you know a lot about these kinds of things, that only empowers you and may actually provide a suitable like brain meal for the audience to enjoy. That you might be their first extraplanar book or whatever, and then someone would be like, oh, you like that? Well, why don't you also read this? And then they can follow up, and then they get to your level, and still really enjoy it. The other thing is that don't worry about sounding too close to something else. Like John Cleese said, if you find a good idea, steal it. Also, seriously, because I mean that doesn't stop anybody else. That didn't stop Bye Bye Man. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Bye Bye Man still happened, and it still made money because reasons. But I mean, if you would have given me that script,
in a universe where that can happen.
Yeah,
there is a parallel universe where it didn't, and we should go there.
Exactly. So, like, somebody handed somebody the script for Bye Bye Man, and they're like, "Yeah, let's do it. Approved. It's got what we want."
There's a universe where it's called the Hello Man, and it starts with plinky plonky music that goes, "This summer, the Hello Man will give you a visit.
Hello.
Think about him. Think about him all the time. Write about him. He's a cool guy."
He's got a cute little tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll make you buy gifts for your family. One man will say hello. Actually, yeah, it might be a bit terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be like a place with like a really shit economy. So you have like the Hello Man who just sort of like shows up, gives you a bit of money, and then you just freak out because you don't know what to spend it on or how to keep it safe. People like look at you hungrily, so it's more like a curse when you have money. It's like, oh no, now they all want my money. They're gonna kill me and take it. Why, Hello Man? Why did you give me money? No! And he just winks at you, ding, and then he leaves. The thing is that nobody can see the Hello Man until he says hello.
And by then it's too late.
And then it's too late.
And inflation has gone up. Like,
so yeah, just to regroup on those ideas. Don't let your anxiety stop you from making something, and also if it's a good idea, steal it.
Yeah, well, I'm being careful about what I steal.
Don't do Ready Player One. But if you try at all, you probably won't do Ready Player One.
Oh yeah, no, mine's nothing near that, but mine's definitely near the Dark Tower. So it's kind of like it's I'm thinking obviously completely in vanity about my Wikipedia article in 20 years where it says Tom Jones Mauji was a cool writer and stuff.
Was a cool writer and stuff.
Before he went on to save us all from space aliens. Yeah. And underneath it will say also he wrote books. And I want it to say he was clearly inspired by the Dark Tower as opposed to he clearly ripped off the Dark Tower.
Yeah. Well,
it's like if I have to up and go into another universe to get away from you fucking hack critics, I will do that. Yeah. So I can be Stephen King.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and then I write the Dark Tower, and then I don't know if I've ripped myself off or not.
Right. Like if you remove the author and the book, but the story still exists, is it the same book?
That's making my brain melt. I've got a burning urge, but like no ideas. I like universe. Can I live in it, please? Okay, well, I think that's it for parallel universes, and it's probably it for John Dies at the End as well. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was pretty great.
Which means it now falls to you, Chris,
Me.
to pick next. Yes, you, the master of picking the next thing.
The master of unlocking the next podcast. Master of picking. Stop it. Let's see. Look around my room for something horrible.
Try not to look at the spider.
I only see it out of the corner of my eye. It's fine. So I'm juggling like a couple of movie ideas, and I want it to be movies because I don't want to spend a lot of time playing any other game right now but Final Fantasy X. So
that's fine. And we did the Undying.
Final Fantasy X. Anyway,
we got through the Undying, so
I know Undying was such a disappointment. Oh. It's either a movie I want to watch that we've already seen, or a movie I don't know if we've all seen, or a movie I'm pretty sure we haven't all seen.
Okay.
So,
well, whichever one you pick, there will be two other universes that branch off for your other choices. So,
yeah. Man, I love thinking about parallel dimensions. Like, you know, when you meet somebody in life and they give you they throw shade at you, make you mad at some shit. Man, like one of the ways I actually deal with that is that in another dimension I fuck that person up. But this is the dimension where I kept self-control and just moved on with my life. Yeah, this is the
dimension where you're the better man.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah, I love that. It makes me feel really good.
I hope I live in.
Oh, man. There's so many people at work. So, anyway. Gosh,
Have you finished juggling?
I don't want to do the one that we've already seen. So that's 2 now instead of 3.
Okay.
The other 2 aren't really horror movies, but then neither was John Dies at the End or Predator, and I don't think we really care anymore, so I'm going to be okay with that.
I think so long as they're intriguing, they've got some kind of something about them that we can kind of get into, I don't mind.
All right, fuck it. Have we seen Being John Malkovich?
I've seen it, and I would love to watch it again.
All right. So we've already all seen it?
Yeah. But it was a long time ago. It was like 10 years ago.
So what you're saying is Malkovich.
Malkovich. And that ties in actually because we were talking about Get Out and that apparently that is a spiritual sequel to Being John Malkovich. So that's kind of quite neat.
Okay. Well, we'll watch Being John Malkovich then.
Okay, yeah. Because it in a way, I mean, it's very surreal, which a lot of horror can be very surreal. and in places it is. I think if I remember rightly, it's it's dark. It's about.
I don't think it ends well.
No, I don't remember it ending well.
I just remember that dining scene. Malkovich. Malkovich. As a viewer, it's like there's like a disconnect. I can't understand, but they understand. It's like I almost understand that Malkovich means Malkovich, also Malkovich. Oh my God, what's going on in my brain? Yeah. So being John
kind
Malkovich.
of plays into that. It plays into that surrealist kind of like, I know the word is, I've never read his writings, but Kafka-esque, kind of like about people and like not Kafka-esque. That's Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kafka-esque in my mind means like kind of things like the Adjustment Bureau and stuff like Brazil, where kind of it's about weird society and the way people kind of like interact with each other. And being John Malkovich has got kind of a tinge of that as well.
Yeah.
It's very surreal.
Like, you definitely know you're in for something when the guy gets a job at an office building that's only half a floor of height. You know, like he has to bend down low because this door is like 3.5 feet tall, and he has to crawl into his office that way. And it's like, what? I'm not even sure if I remember that correctly, but I know something like that happens. So yeah.
Is it John Cusack?
Yes.
Ah, so that will make it.
And in this one, John does not die at the end. Maybe.
Well, I can't remember much about the plot other than, obviously you go through a tunnel and you're inside John Malkovich. So.
Well, I mean, you're in his head. You're in his head. All right.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's a completely different movie.
Also a great movie, though.
Heavy Agenda.
No!
I think today's episode might get called Heavy Agenda. That's
I approve. Stamp.
Being John Malkovich. Let's take a little look. 1999. So yeah.
I can't remember its full like content, whether it's like super explicit in some places or not. But I'm just throwing that out there because there's a bit of a warning.
It might be like with me, with John dies at the end. It's like, oh, surprise nudity. So.
Yeah. Wow, count the titties. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yes. I beat the spiders on the wall.
I put that. There's one podcast episode where we just start laughing like maniacs, and we don't actually say what the hell is going on. So I put in the description for that episode the link to the video we were laughing at. So,
good.
I might put it in the bottom of this one again just for shits and giggles.
Yeah,
it's great.
It is so good. It's like a stroke of pure genius. Just bleep out.
Sounds like he strokes it a lot, to be honest.
When I'm alone, I beat myself. God damn, it's so funny.
Okay, we are all gonna go away.
I can beep forever. I'll beep until I drop. God, I love that. So fun.
Malkovich.
Right. Malkovich, and Malkovich.
Yeah, we'll all go away and do that and come back. Same time, next cast. So, until that, guys, have you... I noticed, Chris, actually, that you had some videos pop up. I haven't had the chance to take a look at them yet, but I saw them appear.
Oh, yeah. It's just, Duh.
I saw them videos on your YouTube.
Did you see that through the viewing square?
They done appeared.
Oh, if I could whistle, I'd totally do that. That's like soft whistle between the S sounds. Oh man. Anyway, like I said, I was playing Final Fantasy a lot, and I'm pretty proud of some of my matches in Dissidia, and I just threw them on my YouTube channel.
Oh, so they're like best of Chris wins battles.
I should probably like put them into a highlight reel instead of like individual matches, but I'm pretty lazy and I'm not really worried about my YouTube channel. I'm almost thinking about deleting it, but I'm also thinking about doing something else entirely. So it's a coin toss at this point. Depends how much time I want to put into it.
My gut says don't delete it until you're sure you're doing something else, because that whole kind of creating work and then getting rid of it, like you're already I can't remember how many views you have, but you're already on the way to being able to monetize. So even if you completely rebrand, and I think you can change the name of an account after you've started it, you should definitely think about keeping it.
No, I got an email like a month or so ago that they demonetized me because I don't have like 4,000 hours watched monthly and I don't have 1,000 subscribers. And it's like, screw it, you know? I'm not trying to like race them to get money, and I don't want to put any pressure on myself. And I've been having a lot of fun just playing video games and not worrying about recording them. But
well, that's definitely the most important thing.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at your account now. You have 222 videos. I mean, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And they're all
Think about
crap.
it. That's all I'm saying.
There
is a dimension where you
crap.
There's a dimension where you delete your YouTube channel and then you kind of wish you hadn't. So
yeah, there's also a dimension where I deleted my YouTube channel, and I am glad I did it.
No, this is the dimension where Chris thinks about it, but walks away because he's the bigger man.
I think about just brutalizing my YouTube channel, but instead I walk away because I'm the better person. But no, I was thinking about doing a since I'm madly in love with Final Fantasy, and maybe for the rest of my life, I don't know, but it's my one game, and I was thinking about just making a YouTube series about not Let's Plays of Final Fantasy, obviously, but just like, for example, Carbuncle in Final Fantasy III is a turtle shell with a single eye, but Carbuncle in Final Fantasy VIII is a cute little thing with a ruby on its forehead.
Yeah, I remember what that. Yeah, I remember it from the Triad card.
Mm-hmm. And then like Garuda is a major summon in FF14, but in FF10 it's just a big flappy bird. You know, what I'm saying is that I really do find it interesting how Final Fantasy like has its roots, and then they sort of like mutate and then mutate, like through every game series, and then eventually they'll just like create like a new thing entirely that'll be well loved, but its origin is like almost like a single cell organism version of the actual Carbuncle, you know, like a turtle shell with an eyeball, no legs or anything. It just like scoots the shell across the ground, I guess.
And then you have things that don't really tend to evolve that much, like Tonbrees and Marlboros and Chocobos, I guess.
They're like living horrors, those fucking things, Malboros.
Yeah, I always wondered if, like, because they spit out, they're like essentially like poisonous, like almost fuming with smoke, right? Yeah, so is that like to do with like smoking? Because Marlboro...
You know, I never thought of it that way, but I am going to take that as canon from now on. That sounds right to me.
Malkovich.
Like, I still remember, like, my first time encountering one in FF7 on that, like, mountain path or whatever, and it's like, they give you a ribbon, and for some reason a ribbon prevents all status effects, and you can equip it, and I didn't. So I'm like, I'm not wearing a stupid ribbon. I'm going to have, like, defense or attack increase. Running down the mountain path. Malboro. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Attack, bad breath. I have confuse, poison, darkness, fucking slow, stop on some of them. Like, every status effect possible all at once on every one of my characters. It's a really bad time. Yeah. I was like... Oh my god, how do I beat this guy? Well, I'll just wait out these status effects. Poison, confuse, attack yourself, dead. Poison, you know, it's like, Jesus Christ. I am going to have to put that stupid ribbon on next time I reload this game, because there's no way to save myself.
I hate that moment when you're playing a game and you actually have a mental check and you go, where was the last time that I saved?
I mean, even also, I like to cover, like, the weapons. Like, you have Excalibur. What is Excalibur in our world? What is Excalibur in the way it's represented in the Final Fantasy games? I mean, what if I just made a big YouTube channel that just, like, documented, like, almost an encyclopedia-wise style of everything, but just sort of through my eyes, as opposed to Wikipedia, because that's already done. Wikipedia's already done. But, you know, just put some shit together like that. But then I'm thinking, do I want to put the time into the videos and editing? Or do I want to just keep playing video games?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the one series you're saying that you've got the most kind of like love for.
Yeah.
So I think it would probably be the one you would get least kind of either bored with or fed up with.
Yeah.
In terms of having to produce content. So
yeah.
maybe you should just try one, see how it goes.
It's so weird because I'm thinking maybe I'll dodge lightning 100 times. Maybe I will do that. because that sounds like something I can do if I just like put some eye drops in my eyes, really hunker down and just look for that flash, hit X 100 times, probably over 20 minutes without blinking.
Surely it's easier in HD than
I think
SD.
it is. I think I noticed that it was, but 100 times? Like, why wasn't it 50? I did 50, but 100? Oh. And you can't just mash it either. You can't set your X button.
I feel that way about Super fucking Mario fucking Odyssey fucking Odyssey. I'm going around getting the moons every now and then when I feel like it. And there's the only moon I'm missing in New Donk City is the one where you've got to jump rope 100 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, fuck that noise.
I think I did that.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I'm not sure. But I saw the jump rope. I was like, I know I can get in on this shit because Mario Odyssey is really good about like putting a toy in your face and allowing you to play with it, and not just it being a set piece. So I was like, jump rope. I'm going in there. I mean, Mario used to be called Jump Man. How would they not let me jump on the jump rope? So I jumped.
Got the 30, but 100? Really? 100?
Jump. Yeah, it's kind of fun. After a while, I don't think I got 100 now that I think about it. 30 sounds pretty good. 30 sounds like something I did.
Yeah, basically quite a few of the moons. There's like, say with the car race, which is also in that world, I guess. You know, the little kind of soap car thing. You get a fast time in it, and then you've got to get a faster time. And I just managed it, and I was like, that's impossible when I started. I managed to get it. Yeah. But with the jump rope, it is legit impossible. If you've got it, you're lying.
Well, it reminds me really quick about FF10. One of the things you have to do to get Titus' ultimate weapon is beat this chocobo race in under 0 seconds.
Oh yeah, I think I heard about that as well. It's kind of like, don't you have to have like stupid like? Do you have stat boosts or
no? The way when I saw it, I was like, "There's no way you can get under 0 seconds. That means I'd have to start and stop immediately." What the hell? What it is there's balloons, or I think there's some sort of like thing you can get, and they give -3 seconds every time you collect one. And if you can stay on track, well enough, that 3 seconds will actually get you under 0 seconds before the finish line. So
I'm watching someone do it in 0 seconds right now.
Yeah, it was actually fun. I actually legit did that on the PS2. I remember doing that. I think Titus was the only character I had a legendary weapon for, because I don't usually hunt those things, but I enjoyed doing his tasks.
It's kind of like the mercenaries thing, isn't it, in Resident Evil 3? Like you get time back. Yeah, so I guess eventually, if the thing is broken enough, you could get time back to be in 0 or negative.
Yeah.
Like, actually, I already did it 5 minutes ago.
Like, they pull the trigger and like, no, I'm already done. Give me my thing. Give me my reward. What are you talking about? No, I really did it. See? It happened. I went through time.
It's kind of like Arnie and John dies at the end. It's like, actually, you are already dead. Sorry.
Yeah. They should have called it Arnie dies at the end. That would have been appropriate. Or named him John.
Yeah. Oh.
Or
how about you, Matt? Are you doing any YouTube? You've got like about, is it like a month or slightly less now? How long does it take to make a video of you screaming for 10 seconds? Because that's how we all feel about season 8 of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, because Red Letter Media does stuff like that with like new movie reviews, and they clearly have like a border that they put the video in, and then like something over it so that like the AI bots can't scrub it out and find it. It's just like that's the other thing that stopped me from wanting to continue doing YouTube, is because they are very clearly pushing to own like the top content and stopping people from just like making stuff. And I don't blame them, because I know that like 5 or 6 years ago when we started this whole Let's Play thing, or when I started this Let's Play thing, there was a bunch of kids coming out of like high school thinking they're gonna have a Let's Play career, like PewDiePie or something like that, and it was like poisoning the water, because people weren't watching Let's Plays the way Let's Plays should have been watched. They were like just watching their friend play a video game, or they're just watching someone their friend told them to watch play a video game so they can get the views, and everyone's gonna get rich this way. It's the new career choice of the millennium, and it's like, no, it's not supposed to be about a career. but I have to admit, it's hard to ignore. I could make money doing this. Apparently, some Swedish asshole made millions. So if I made like 1% of that, I'd be fucking happy. Anyway.
Yeah, it's oversaturated, and YouTube are making it harder for people who aren't already established.
Yeah.
I've not given up completely. I did want to start speedrunning over the Christmas period, but life got in the way, and other kind of like health things and stuff that don't really want to go into, but yeah, you kind of like drag you down. Good news is I've got my home office finally set up. I went to IKEA and I bought a bookcase, and then the next day the guy who started IKEA died. So stuff like that happens to me all the time. Like I go see a band and then
whoa,
the band
no. People die around me all the time. Dude, stay the fuck away from me.
No, it's totally fine. So long as you comply, nothing will happen to you. It was just a little bit, you have to go and pick it up off the shelf yourself and take it to the self-scan aisle and scan it yourself. It's
How fucking dare they?
Yeah, what are you guys here for?
Man, that reminds me. I don't know if you guys have this shit happening to you guys in England, but like my Walmart has. I don't know if you guys have Walmart, but my Walmart.
We have Asda, which is a subsidiary of Walmart, I think.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Okay, really quick though. Like I come into the store and I grab the thing that I want to get. I go to the cashiers. Wait, where did they go? Now it's self-checkouts. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I bought a box of crisps or something, and I scan it myself with the gun in my hand. Like, I don't work here. Fucking bag it myself like I fucking work here. Like, I didn't know I had a second job, pull my own money out, pay myself.
Like in.
Yeah, where's my fucking apron? I put my card in the machine, I get my receipt and my money, and I keep it, and I get my thing, and I walk out. And like, how fucking dare they make it so that I have to go to their store, buy their stuff, ring myself up, check myself out, and walk the fuck out of their store? Like, I don't work there. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh man, I should just be the worst Walmart employee they've ever had. I should just fucking steal everything that I want, because there's no one to stop me. That's the problem they're having over here,
definitely. Is people are like fudging it and putting like scanning the wrong things and not scanning other things.
I mean, what's to stop me from scanning one box of like I don't know, granola bars, and then just putting 3 boxes in my bag?
Yeah.
Nothing. Normally a cashier would be like, oh, you can't do that. Oh, sorry, out of politeness, I just won't murder her for the 3 boxes of granola bars. I'll do this again, this time the right way, because I'm not trying to go to jail. I'm sorry, here's the money, and then we go, But no, in this situation, there's no one watching me. I can just fucking granola bars, 48-inch 4K TV, walk the fuck out of the store. I'm the best employee.
Yeah, sometimes it sucks that we're in like the lawful good universe where you've got to kind of like not go to prison because it sucks.
Man, I get furious. I went and bought Ghost in the Shell, the live action movie, on Blu-ray, and it has a fun plastic clamshell case around it that you're not supposed to take home with you. But hey, I don't work there. I don't have a key. The manager didn't give me the key. So I bought it, put it in the bag, and I walked out of the store, and then the store goes, boo, woo, 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 or actually does more like a, dun, 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 please wait for attendance, or some bullshit like that. And then a lady shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know what could I'm not stealing anything. I don't know what could possibly set off the alarm. I'm like, oh, calm down, sir. And she pulls out you need to take the clamshell. I need to take the clamshell off this thing? You need to take the clamshell off this thing. What? Why was there no one there to do that for me? Isn't that your job?
As far as I'm concerned, like, you bought the clamshell box as well. So.
Yes.
This is mine now.
I'm going to use it to protect my movies.
I got me a pretty box to put my films in.
Mom's picture looked great in this new box I bought. Jesus Christ. Oh, God, it fills me with fire. I'm so mad every time I go to Walmart.
Yeah, it's the same thing over here, except they do still have a couple of tills. And when you do go to the self-scan, there is like a person floating around who has to get to everybody, because like they have these little lights above the tills, and they fly. They kind of like have a green color when everything's fine, and they go red when something's like a security thing or whatever, and it has to stop and wait for an attendant. So, like you can see this one person going up and down like a row of 20 things, and all of them are red. It's
just desperately whack-a-moling their way to the end of their shift.
Yeah. And Asda near us has got like this thing where you can kind of pick up a little gun, and if you sign up with them with your email, then you can go around and scan it yourself, like while you're shopping. The only thing I like about that is you get like an express till at the end. You can just kind of walk in and go boop and scan it and just like pay, which is the one thing I like about it. But that's also only open from 10 till like 7 in the evening. So if you get there a little bit earlier, it's like you can't even use it. Yeah. It's like robots are on sleep at this time. They don't work these hours.
Yeah, they get breaks. Fortunately, there's like 2 or 3 actual cashiers like in the middle of the cash register stable, whatever you want to call the line of cash registers that would be there. And I can just go there. It's just that you kind of have to like, I mean, like the express is like right next to the door, so you want to just go and get out. But from now on, I'm just going to make a stand and make sure those cash register people have a job, because I like the interaction now. I didn't used to, but then I started working out, becoming more positive, and I'm like, hi, how's it going? I know your job sucks. I used to work it once. Here, I'm going to make this as pleasant as possible for you. I appreciate you being here. Oh, thank you for taking that clamshell. I almost brought it home. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a nice day. And it's bliss in comparison to the robots.
It's going to be one day soon you turn up and you say, hi, hello, how are you? And the machine goes, do not flirt with me. I'm here to proceed with your goods. Only your goods.
Goods. And starts to
the machine's clocking off. Next time you're in there, you just want to ask them, where's my fucking name tag?
I know it. That's how I feel. And that's what Walmart made me feel. Food Line doesn't do that. I should go to Food Line. Except Food Line isn't 24 fucking hours, so Walmart is the only place I can go to. Unless I wake up in the morning, which I don't do because I work late. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Does your Walmart stay open 24 hours even on a Sunday?
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I wish we lived in America sometimes for some things, like asterisk. Basically, yeah, for some reason, like our 24-hour stores are all 24-hour over here until it gets to Sunday, and then they go, nope, they're normal hours now, because apparently Sunday is some special day.
What?
And I'm sure it is for some people, but like, come on, I want to buy, like, really bad food at like 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
That's the best time to make those decisions too.
Exactly.
So, anyway, Malkovich.
Yeah.
Malkovich.
Yeah. So basically, I am working on stuff. It is going to come. I know I keep saying that, but eventually, someday, we will arrive in a universe where that will happen. Yes, I know. Oh, you guys. Yes, I know. Trust me, soon you will all have name tags and be inducted into the shopping food hall of darkness. Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Matt's tired. I think we should go.
Yes. I think we should Malkovich.
Yes. You guys Malkovich, I'll Malkovich, and I'll Malkovich you back here next time.
You'll Malkovich?
Yeah, I'll fucking Malkovich.
Them's fighting words.
I'm down to Malkovich. This episode of Spoilers of the Damned was hosted by Axton10_61, Madicus Finch, and Garlips. To find out about us, as well as join the discussion on our Discord, check out all the links in the description below. Please feel free to leave a review or rate us on your podcast app of choice.